Well, welcome back, everybody, from our long break. 2 weeks. One of my other tables is going like 3 weeks. They're not thrilled. No. They had some back-to-back work requirements. And then, oddly enough, speaking of schedules, we will meet again on the 29th, correct? As far as we know, we're good the 29th, but then we're off the 5th. As I will be going to fair between the 31st and the 5th. I'll be shutting down the studio for a week while I go do that. We have a SCA event out in Arizona that me and my partner in crime are going to be part of. We're actually merchants in the SCA. So apologize for the voice. I think it's because we're really, really cold in LA, right? Or in Southern California. So Callista does not like the cold. She tends to run the heater a lot. So when it gets really cold, she runs the heater and it gets really dry. And then, of course, I promptly begin to sound like I've got a frog in my throat. Rah, 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 as usual. Par usual.
I mean, it kind of fit the story here a minute when we had that bullywog, but...
Well, a while ago, yeah. I'm glad I'm not doing that voice. Bullywog voices are fun up to a point till you can't speak anymore. So, Winter, we don't know where Winter is. So hopefully she will join us soon when she realizes that we're playing.
Maybe she tried to follow the mouse folk back.
Well, no, she had an interesting plan. She wants to kidnap one of the officers of the flagship.
That's right.
And the idea was to infiltrate the flagship, kidnap an officer, and try and get information out of them, I believe, was the plan. At least one of the plans. But we'll do a recap here shortly. Can't believe it's Sunday already.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend seems like it flew.
Happy Lunar New Year to anyone who celebrates.
Yeah, we had a...
Mani Padiseo, and
LA unfortunately had a incident.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sure you've seen it on the news.
Canceled today's stuff because of it last night.
I actually know that area extremely well. I've been in that area before. And another group of gamers that play on the Dungeon Run, Ron Ogden, who's one of the players on that group, he lives less than 5 minutes from Monterey Park.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely nutty. But hey, welcome to session 24, if you can believe it. And not much has happened. Puck died.
Not much.
A strange mythical figure seems to be at the base of the volcano. At least we think.
With lots of undead stuff.
And it would appear that whatever the creature was that was in the... Oh, hello. That was totally on Puck's side, I think. Or is that Xanath?
That's over here. That's
yeah. I keep forgetting you're in one of the towers.
Mm-hmm.
You're like actual downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown.
I can mute
it. Oh my God, that's great. So,
it's like one of those DJ soundboards now.
Where we last left off, it would seem after dealing with a surprise visit from an undead or aberrational T-Rex that seems to have been sent for some purpose, Mithra, after being brought back out of their cursed form and into their male form, and then we learned about their relationship with the Wanderman Assembly and the possibility of a level of lying or a lack of information, perhaps. Mithras, he took the opportunity to take out Puck on his way out as perhaps a distraction or to gain himself more time. Puck was eventually brought back by a shamanistic mouse folk that went by the name of Matron. And once Puck was back, the conversation over where did he go, what to focus on, what do all these lies mean, or unanswered questions. Earthen was convinced to get the council involved and possibly maybe even get the Dampiers involved to try to begin tracking down Mithras, who is now fleeing deeply into the jungle. But at the time that Puck was in between worlds of existence, a voice had trapped her, a creature, an entity that had a presence or had some measure of control over where her, for all intents and purposes, where she was caught in between worlds, her physical form on the prime material plane. But there now seems to be a sentient creature that can insert itself in between the veils of existence. Or it could be just the proximity to the creature itself caused this almost near catastrophe of Puck's non-corporeal form being trapped somewhere in a distant nether of unknown origin. But she was brought back, and she was brought back by some very creative means upon which Matron needed their help with. And she heard their voices, and it was the voices of her friends that brought her back for all intents and purposes. But once back, things begin to calm down. Xanath began to do some investigation of her own on the remains of the creature. Spot was heading off into the jungle to possibly commune and gather up some insights in regards to what's been happening. Earthen, I think, is seeking access to the council. Puck currently rests after her near-fatal catastrophe. Winter seems to be busy hatching a plan or a plot that might involve infiltrating the Dwendal flagship and taking advantage of the officers that she has already met, and perhaps retrieve one of them for a bit of Q&A, or maybe a little interrogation as well. Other than that, I believe we are still technically on our second day in the Underdwell, and it is turning from late afternoon to early evening at this point, as most of the day was fraught with killing the creature, bringing Puck back, investigating the scene of the creature's demise, and locating the Mousefolk shaman that was brought in to successfully help and aid in bringing Puck's form back. The light is beginning to fade as late afternoon is turning into early evening. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to commune with Helm when I have an opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, I think you mentioned that last time before we finished the session, because you and Spot were considering doing that. Earthen was tracking down the council, and Puck is currently resting. Mm-hmm. And I'll say Winter is currently in with Puck at this point as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go try and track down Ribbles. He seems to be, from what I hear, the oldest gnome on this area, the oldest non-Dampier, at least, in the area, until Caliban gets back with maybe with Mannheim, if that happens.
Yeah, that's fair.
Still don't even know what to do with that. Forgot all about that because everything else happened.
That's fair. Go ahead and give me investigation as you begin to search for Gribbles. Xanath, give me survival, and Spot, give me survival as well. As the two of you go to seek out a little bit of solace, or perhaps kind of confined space to start doing some communing with your affinity patrons.
That's a 23.
Okay.
I got a dirty 20.
Filthy 20.
Just an 11.
What'd you get, Spot?
An 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. Zenith, it's an unusual thing for you. More has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks of your life compared to your involvement with where you've come from. Your search has always been designed with the idea that Helm needs to... You've always felt that Helm would be kind of a revelation, that these revelations would help guide your thought and your process. The inner monologue that you sometimes have via the helmet has always come and gone in either harmonic tones or subtle influences or whispered voices. To a certain degree, your focus and your ability to channel these thoughts or these conversations through your helmet has always given you your own ability to find an opportunity to try to make this work with Helm. This idea of what Helm is, the origin of your own understanding of your relationship with Helm. You find an abandoned shrine. It's difficult to know how old it is. It's difficult to even truly understand if this is still an active shrine or not. It's heavily covered in ivy and jungle vines. There's lichen and other moisture kind of growing plants around its base, but it feels old. It looks to be a shadow, like a shattered effigy of a statue of a male warrior. Hard to know for sure. You're not even really sure if there's a lineage involved. It just feels like this old abandoned shrine tucked in between a couple of houses that aren't being used, in amongst the kind of like coral and the rock.
Mm-hmm.
But it affords some privacy. You place your helm on the ground and you begin to try to commune with Helm. You begin to try to understand and reach out. Give me a charisma or persuasion check. Your choice.
Okay. And can I cast the spell commune? Is that what I'm doing?
You could if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still want me to roll for charisma or persuasion?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might impact what you get back.
Okay. That's a 14 plus persuasion, so 16. Or 17, sorry.
Okay. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I found a place that's dark, and I put my helmet on the ground and I lay down my shield next to me, and I don't think I close my eyes because I don't think a cleric of Helm closes their eyes and lets down their guard. And I just try and reach out my mind and ask questions.
And you get 3 of them.
All right. I think my first question is, can the clerics of Helm on this island be trusted?
The helmet sitting at the base of the shrine in front of you, your eyes open, staring. Your question brings an answer of a question. And the gentle whisper from the helmet, you hear, "What makes you think there are clerics of Helm on that island?"
Okay. Oh no.
I love this spell. I love this spell so much.
It's a cool spell, and I'm wondering whether to go in a different direction than the questions I was going to ask.
Well, that's kind of the purpose of Commune,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's why the questions become so much more difficult, because you have in your mind what you think that first question's supposed to mean, but it doesn't, immediately resonate.
Is Devon looking for the Martinet now?
Is Devon looking for the Martinet now? That one's easy. You just hear the yes.
And I think my my last question will be, can the Dampier gnomes be controlled by the thing at the center of the island?
No.
Okay.
And then you feel the resonance of the helmet fade. You feel the cold return of the snow and the frost sensation. You feel your own kind of like sense of numbing focus on the spell just kind of give way to your breathing. Just this gentle breathing and focus on those 3 questions.
I think Xanth's just in a cold sweat. She's freaked out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Spot, what are you doing? You're out wandering the fringes of the jungle, the general area that you remember the matron coming from.
I'm just going to try to find a kind of empty clearing, just because this isn't something Spot really has any real experience with. I'm going to try to give thanks to a deity that I know about, but isn't one that's really in my pantheon. So I kind of pull out one of my snacks and bury it as an offering. It's Nulla. She's supposed to like animal offerings, and just kind of get in lotus position and just kind of begin to meditate.
Okay.
Hey, Houdini.
How do you meditate? How does Spot meditate?
I've never really been formally trained. I'm not a good monk, so I just sit down.
You just like to wear the pajamas.
Pretty much. They're comfy, man. I sit down with my hands open and just try to clear my mind. Shouldn't be that hard, little walnut in there, but just see what Nulla or any of my other gods has to say to me.
Oh, this is going to have to be... Do you do it with your eyes open or closed?
Closed.
That's the question I have. Closed? Okay. What's your passive perception?
Passive perception. Where are you? 17.
All right.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. Forgive me. That's perception.
It should be near your saving throws, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was. That's I was reading it wrong. It is 17.
That's what I thought. It's pretty decent for you. You're a very perceptive person caught inside of Tabaxi's body. The sounds of the jungle begin to slightly fade. The sounds and busy sounds of the chaos of the recovering underdwelled community begins to fade. The cacophony of night noises begin to fade. Your breathing steadies, your eyes twitch, and you focus, and you focus, and you feel a gentle tap on your nose.
Which one of my gods just booped me?
Oh, I don't know if I'm a god.
I don't. I just kind of slowly open my eyes, and what do I see?
Standing in front of you is a very androgynous figure. Their lineage undiscernible, their gender undiscernible. They stand there in front of you, covered in jungle ivy, as if it's their skin. Their face is a mixture of blue and green hues. But when you trace the kind of almond-shaped face to a set of round eyes, they lack pupils, but they have the depth of greenery in them. For hair, long strands of jungle flower flowing back out of their hair with small branches of twigs sticking out of their hair. Their lithe leg forms are very childlike in appearance, but there's an overwhelming sense of age in their stare at you. Why are you asleep in the middle of the jungle? You know, there's things out here that could eat you.
I don't know. This is one of the first times I've done this. This is how I assumed I would have to commune with. Who, may I ask whom I'm addressing? Is this? Are you Nilla?
They sit down in front of you very crisscross, but they do it with such a fluid motion, you swear you don't remember seeing them move. Like, almost, it was almost as if you blinked and they were sitting in front of you. And they just kind of stare at you for a moment. Why are you asking questions?
Well, I wanted to give thanks to my deities for everything that happened in the last couple of days, because I don't know how we got out of that. I've made some sacrifices to Timora, but given what happened with my friend Puck, I really wanted to try communing with Nilla. Just have them pass my thanks on to the Wild Mother, if possible.
What exactly makes you think that the gods were involved?
Well, we just saw a mousefolk bring my friend back to life, more or less.
And that means gods are involved? And they just kind of stare at you. You get the feeling that they are looking at you as if you're a child.
Fair.
Maybe not, but that's just how they are staring at you currently. And then it's a little unnerving that their eyes never blink. Like there's no, like their eyes are almost lidless as far as you can tell.
Okay, well, I know this. I'm not sure much right now. I know this isn't the cat lord because reasons, but again, would you mind telling me what name the sentient folk know you by?
That who knows me by?
The mortals, people.
You ask the strangest questions.
I'm a kitty. What do you want? I just want to know because right now I don't know if I'm talking to Timora or the Wild Mother or someone completely unrelated.
Give me a wisdom save, Spot.
Uh-oh, this is going to hurt. Wisdom. Wisdom save. Where you at? That is an 11.
Okay. There's a buzzing sensation in your mind to the point that your eyes and ears go slightly numb. And they just stare at you for a moment, and as they talk, the voice they talk with emanates from your mouth. I don't know why you think just because something isn't recognizable, it should automatically be a god. Just because your choices gave life to your friend, and yet you think the gods are involved. Their head tilts to look at you strangely. A kind of root system-like tongue lolls out for a minute and then pulls back in. You can now see like strange moths and other flying insects are buzzing around both you and them. You feel a little sleepy too, like, and they're closer than you remember. It's uncomfortable how close they are. And suddenly your eye itches a bit. You try to reach up, and as you reach up, you feel something attached to your face.
Oh, this is fun.
Oh no.
It feels like vines, jungle vines. Please, continue with your questions. They're fascinating. So you came out here thinking that you were going to thank the gods for saving you and your friends.
That was my intention. Can I try to extend one or two of my claws very slightly and try to cut the vine that I feel on my face?
No, you don't feel a reason to.
Oh, okay.
In fact,
Cool.
it's comforting and warm, and you can just feel this droning sensation as, without even moving yourself, you feel yourself get dragged like 6 inches closer. Just
This is vaguely unsettling.
oh, what's unsettling? You sought me out. I didn't seek for you.
I'm not a well-schooled monk. I came into this kind of by accident, but I don't really know what I'm doing. If I've offended you in some way, please help me rectify that.
Oh, I don't think you're capable of offending me. I'm not really sure you're capable of much of anything. And you feel yourself get dragged a little closer. Go ahead and give me another wisdom save as they are pulling you physically closer. And that would be enough to heighten your senses. Like something's not right.
All right.
Do you have any inspiration left over or anything?
Oh, I think I do. So I'm going to do that. So let me get that. What was that? I think it's a D6 on that.
You got a D6 for a joke last time, yeah?
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
That is a 14.
14.
Oh.
It's a strange, sleepy sensation. Your mouth is a bit droopy. You can feel your ears and your fur kind of droop. You could feel a sense of kind of weakness being pulled from you, but it also feels vibrant and comforting at the same time. And that's when you hear another voice off to the side. And let me tell you, I rolled for this, and you got lucky, my friend. You got lucky, because it is in their neck of the woods. A familiar mousefolk sits at the base of a palm tree. He is... Matron's a he, right? I use my I use my male matron.
Yeah.
I have a female version of the mouse folks, so sometimes I get it confused. Sorry about that. Matron is casually leaning up against the palm tree, and it's just enough to break the tendrils of psychic hold on you. They are still in front of you, but there's an anger to their visage now. There's a sense of disruption. There's a sense of interference. They turn to look over at Matron, and then the sense of the voice kind of changes a bit. Why do you always have to disturb me when it's important? I'm not disturbing you. I mean, I've watched this happen before, but here's the thing. This one is off limits. I happen to know for a fact that he colludes and works with Sibo. And if Sibo gets wind of what you're about to do to him, well, it's not going to go well for you, my friend. Their eyes narrow, their lidless eyes narrow. From Matron back over to you, Spot, back and forth. And there's a brief moment of clarity. And you feel thousands of tiny little thorns leave your physical self. And hundreds of tendrils of vines are retracting away from you.
I don't think that was either of those guys. Huh.
Matron is literally pinching the bridge of his nose. Like maybe he's made a bad choice. Look, just go on your way. There will be other targets for you. You don't want this one. I mean, look at the amount of fur. It would take you at least a year to digest all of that. I mean, there are more purposeful targets. And the matron's voice gets deeper with this thaumaturgy kind of blast. And then the jungle dryad looks back at you and then back at the matron. Stands up on delicate feet and legs. Fine. Just be sure to let Sibo know it was an honest mistake. And without walking or movement, they just blend back into the jungle undergrowth, back into the palms and trees, back into just the greenness of the expansive jungle around you. And then suddenly the noises of the nearby underdwell, the canopy sounds of a busy jungle. That will be 36 points of psychic damage.
Oh,
no. You currently have a point of exhaustion. That's for 2 failed saving throws.
Absolute worst luck trying to commune with gods.
I'm bad at it.
It's really.
The kicker is like, isn't his god the luck god?
Yes.
Well, he's lucky Matron came along.
Right?
I rolled a natural 20 on my intervention. And I was like, oh, he's close enough to an arc. So, yeah.
Here it comes.
Matron comes over. Wow, that was close. You know, yet. You okay? You feeling all right? You look a little peaked.
That was. I don't think that was Noah.
No, that was a jungle dryad. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. So there's a reason why people don't go wandering out of the underdwell, and they kind of stay with each other. And I'm going to put it out there for you. You almost got eaten by a T-Rex. Your friend died from somebody stabbing her, and you go wandering out. What are you doing out here, Spot?
I wanted to commune with Nula, just like show my appreciation. I thought I went like 15 feet, and I just kind of looked behind me, and it's like.
It's like you're a good quarter mile into the undergrowth of the jungle. Well, hey, listen, you want to go back to my tree with me and we could talk this over and maybe I can help you understand how this works. It's not that I don't believe in gods. I mean, if you want to believe in them, hey, you know what? That's great. But if you're sitting in a viper pit surrounded by 200 snakes, you kind of know what the best thing is better than prayer? Don't get in the pit with the viper snakes. Stay out. or find a temple or a nice safe chapel or I here you look peaked. Stand on up here. Let me. And he's going to cast Healing Word for 12 points back.
Whee!
Nice.
So you came out here looking to commune?
Yeah. I don't. You're a servant of the Wild Mother, right?
Well, look.
Or
Sometimes you tell people what they want to hear. Sometimes I channel my magic through the natural environment from where I am. I tell the gnomes, and I think we could be honest with each other, seeing as how I just saved you from permadeath here. Basically, you would have become a small bush for the rest of eternity. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The gnomes trust me more if they think I'm this great soothsayer of the Wild Mother. I mean, don't get me wrong. Out of all of them, I think she's okay. If you want to believe in all that mumbo jumbo. But I borrow magic from the natural world. I take and give back to it.
Oh, cool. So this is more kind of like, I think we have an understanding here. It's like, I'm a really terrible monk, but I get further with that than saying like, no, I'm a reformed thief, but you can trust me. Got it. Cool.
Minus all the wicked intent, yes, it's pretty similar.
What are you talking about? Wicked intent.
Lying, thief. You know what? It doesn't matter. Come on, walk with me. I got some tea back at the tree, not more than a mile from here, and I'll get you situated before I send you back.
Okay. Do you want to like ride on my shoulder or something? Like I don't know. I feel that would be possibly cute.
No, I'm not going to be touching any of that's in your hair. I think you need to get cleaned up. You know what? And that's when you start looking at yourself. You're covered in like a very thin kind of sap that the thorns were extruding to keep you numb. And now it's kind of all like in your hair and your clothes and everything that you're wearing. And you begin to realize you look pretty awful. You just look like someone who's been fighting an undead T-Rex and wandering the jungle and then just encountered something that almost killed you.
I'm not the world's smartest, Tabaxi. I have a feeling I probably shouldn't lick this off.
Yeah, so you clean up like a regular cat? Or are you kidding me? I mean, you use soap and water, right? There's no reason for you to...
Look, man.
I'm just imagining these Spot with a mouse folk and they're having this kind of Tom and Jerry conversation.
No mallets involved.
I mean, look, man, of course I bathe like a normal humanoid, but like, I mean, there's some habits that evolution is just kind of hardwired in. Like, you get it. Like,
no, I don't even like cheese. I'm lactose intolerant.
Well, that's a myth. That's because, like, that was usually like the last things humans had left in their cupboards. Like all the root vegetables and stuff would be gone, or like
Are you sure you're okay that thing didn't do something to you? I don't remember you being this stupid. You seem more clever.
Just didn't know him long enough.
At this point, the two of you are like standing in front of his home, this tree, and you're looking at it going, I can't fit in there. The door is like tiny and don't worry. That's just, and he kind of claps his hands and he watches the tree gets 3 times bigger. And then the door normalizes and he opens it. It's just, at first it's just kind of like a little void and he just steps into the tree.
I feel like there's a... Okay, I just walk in with him.
You walk in right behind him. Puck, you're on Sibo's oversized couch at this point, which is saying a lot because you get the feeling that this couch is probably not part of her usual inspiration of furniture within her kind of... Like her residence is a mix of workshop, alchemy lab, study, place to sleep, place to eat, and it's just this very cluttered existence with a little bit of kind of, order to the chaos. Winter seems to be sitting over at a table and chair and furiously going through a journal and looking for information about something, but she's lost in her own thoughts. Sibo comes over and sees that you're kind of awake, and both, Punch, I would imagine, didn't we send lunch off somewhere?
I don't think so. I think he's just kind of.
Oh, he's a coin in your
chilling.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned back into a coin in your pocket. The Punch is curled up at the base of the couch. And Sibo, she walks over. Well, you had a close call, little one. I know I should call you young one. We're both little. Anyways, have a bite to eat, would you?
Oh, thank you so much.
Sit up. And she kind of pulls over a small step stool, sets a tray of just kind of like fruits and vegetables and cheese and meats. And she kind of sits down like on a chair next to you while you're kind of resting slightly at a slight angle, able to reach the food. And every now and then, Punch's furry head pops up and you like throw a piece of meat in his mouth and he puts his head back down. So, I was listening in on some of the conversations that you and your friends were having while you were being brought back. And after you were brought back. Tell me, what was that like?
Oh, God. Unpleasant. Scary. How long? I guess you've been here for a very long time, your entire life, right?
Well, the Underdwell hasn't always been here, dear. It kind of started off as a small community of cast-offs, people that didn't want to live up above with the others, sensing the change and the derision and the treatment of people and the consolidation of power and greed. One by one, we just kind of ended up down here, this old sanctum. Somebody must have been here before us, but I'd say I've been here the longest for sure.
Huh. Well, has anything ever drew you here? Do you happen to know who might have been here before you?
I don't know. It just seemed like a safe place to hide from those that would do us harm. Access to the waters, access to be able to go in and out of the higher wards when we need to. A way for us to find safety for those that needed it. I never really felt specifically drawn to this place, but perhaps I've never truly thought of it from that perspective as well.
When I was in between, I was talking to something that we think might be at the center of the volcano, not too far from here. Something that, with all likelihood, sent the T-Rex here to harm your kind and is able to reach this place. Has anything like this happened before?
We've had strange, wild encounters before. But we've never had anything so nefarious as what you and your friends dealt with. That's why I find it interesting in the sense of timing. I aid you and your friends in undoing whatever curse was upon that Mithras. And yet all of this unfolds around us.
It seems so. I'm sorry if we've darkened your doorstep with some unfortunate things.
On the contrary, sometimes things get quite boring.
Well, when I was there, I saw an army inside the volcano that seems to be waiting So it
An
might
army?
thousands.
Do you feel like maybe this might have just been a fever dream? Maybe this is what our minds do when we're about to say goodbye to the world and become something else? At least what we think lies on the other side.
I think it happened before I truly passed, before I was stabbed. I was trying to connect with.
Fascinating.
Well, for the record, they were making another undead thing, one in the shape of a monkey, so maybe if there is any kind of way to fortify the area a little bit, just to be safe.
Monkey. That'd be a strange thing to send this way for sure. But you felt it was real? That this voice and this image? Describe for me what you can remember of what it looked like. This creature with a voice.
I tried to describe verbatim as much as I've seen.
Sounds like a lot of shadow and smoke. You know, it's an interesting thing about volcanoes. Some people think that they're portents. Some people would even say they're potential gateways between existences. Great deal of disruption and violence in their creation. But the volcano on this island is sat dormant for as long as I can remember. The occasional tremble or tremor through the island, but never enough activity to make us all concerned or worry about ill intent.
Well, I trust your sense of the island, so maybe it is just something else. I don't know.
Maybe. But definitely worth trying. I'm going to try to find your friend again. When you feel up to it, perhaps you can too. This Mithra has taken my ring and taken my sense of value as well, nearly killing one of what I'd like to call one of my new friends. But rest, eat, get your strength back. I'm sure the others will be back soon.
Before you leave, I just wanted to give you this as thank you for everything you've done for us. And I take out one of the 2 arcane diamonds that I got from the merfolk earlier.
You're giving me one of these?
Well, I would be dead without you.
Well, my knowledge sought out somebody I thought could accomplish this. Are you aware of what these are?
Just vaguely.
They're power stones, of course. You fuse magic into them, and then that magic can be cast out of these stones. Or you could use them to pass enchantments into things as well. Let me show you what you could do with these. What's your preferred weapon that you have on you? What is your sense of weaponry that you have?
I have a crossbow.
And do you use it, or do you prefer your blade?
I guess I use my crossbow more often.
Well, let me see it, and I'll show you something. This is no small matter. This is quite nice. She takes your crossbow over to her workbench. She sets it out there. You watch as she takes the power stone and she begins to flourish and do an incantation. And you watch as a certain amount of energy is now pulsing in the power stone. And very delicately, she pulls out a small kind of like rock hammer and she puts a loop on her eye, and she's now staring at the edge of the power stone, and she very gently taps on it. And when she does, like a radiant poof of arcane dust comes off the stone. And it begins to hover there on its own. And then you watch as the stone drops to the work table, inert, back to its normal form. And fortunately, each time you do this, it weakens the stone until eventually the stone cracks and can't be used anymore. And then she palms the floating arcane dust down and down. She begins to rub it into her hands. Now, I've only tried this a couple times. What would you prefer? Would you prefer your crossbow be more accurate or greater range?
I guess I could always get better at accuracy.
She lays her hands on the crossbow, and then she begins to rub the hands on the wood and the cross brace cord, the trigger assembly, the handle, and eventually you watch as this arcane glow kind of blends into it. Well, I'd say that you now have advantage with this.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Kidding? And you're okay with me keeping this power stone then? It's got maybe one more use in it before it cracks.
Yes, of course. We owe you a lot, and I know you'll use it for good.
How I did this?
Actually, that would be amazing.
And then the two of you spend pretty much the rest of the evening while Winter's plotting, and the two of you are... She's kind of journaling out a formula that is so complex, your eyes kind of go cross-eyed at first, and it looks like it's going to take some effort to learn how she did this, but she's writing in great detail what it would take and the componentry and the effort. And so the two of you spend the early parts of the evening working on that. Earthen, it's not too hard to find Gribbles. He was actually over at the disassembly of the T-Rex. He's currently supervising the last bit. If anything, regardless of age disparity, these are some pretty efficient gnomes. They've managed to take this 50-foot carcass, break it down into wheelbarrow loads and cart loads of rancid remains, and get it out and, out of the center of the underdwell and out into like the jungle canopy areas. And when the last of the workers kind of drift away and drift off, there's the last bit of sunlight is beginning to fade out over the harbor area. And with the jungle canopy being as thick it is here, it gets dark pretty quickly here. Gribbles is the only one still standing in and amongst, just kind of staring at the kind of few remains of viscera, bloody kind of mess, and sees you standing there staring at him, and then just kind of, well, come over. Obviously, you've got something to talk about.
Ribbles, right? I believe we met when I ran out here earlier.
Oh, Gribbles. I guess you could make it up any way you want.
Gribbles, I'm sorry. I've learned from a certain tabaxi friend of mine that remembering things like this ought to be important. I do apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Did you see that strange writing all across the skin of the T-Rex, of that abomination?
Yes, I did.
Were you able to read it?
I'm not really good with the necromantic and arcane languages of striations in that form.
Well,
I mean,
I have
Stevo can't read it. I don't think anyone can.
I have a certain gift sometimes that allows me to decipher things like that, and I can tell you this thing was covered with runes that said seeker, soul drinker, things like that. It was, for all intents and purposes, this was sent here to find something or someone.
Interesting. What is your profession?
Right now?
Well, what's your specialty?
I have a way of talking to people. I have a way of inciting things. I have a way of rabble rousing, let's say.
That's a profession?
It's what I did. I mean, when you lose the rabble, it's hard to rouse much of anything, but now here, I don't know, professional adventurer, let's say.
Well, are you at least inspirational in your rabble rousing?
My
Have you
friends
had
would,
successes? Can you claim to be professional in it?
rabble rousing would be the reason I am on the run from a certain large draconic empire. Not dragons draconic, but you know, very strict rules, life or death. You know, don't say anything bad about the emperor or they'll kill you. I pull out the
So you're
wanted
not very
poster.
good at it then if you're on the
Well,
run.
I pull out the wanted poster and kind of show it, and I was like,
Oh,
you
this
know,
is proof that you're not very good at it. You don't exactly want to be a wanted poster.
come on. Hey, look, okay. So they wouldn't have come after me if we weren't at least marginally successful. Okay.
Or you were marginally unsuccessful.
Okay, glass half empty.
Well, is there a purpose to this conversation, Ethan?
I want to know everything I can learn about this underdwell, the island, the history of this island, and I hear you're the oldest one on the in this area, at least.
Me and Siba were the first to find the underdwell, yes. Whether or not we're the oldest thing on the island, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't say that. I mean, I honestly, I get the feeling that that Caliban has been here longer than you, but Caliban's not here right now, so you're the next oldest
Well,
thing.
Caliban isn't exactly real now, in the sense of, yes, they're old, but things like what they are tend to be very insulated in their own understanding of the world. A small group has agreed to help us because we help keep them safely hidden as well.
But why should they need to hide?
Well,
I mean,
because they're undead,
understanding
dear
that
boy.
the underdwell, it's safe. You know, the sun's not
Because
out.
they're not living creatures.
There are worse things than undead creatures on this island.
Depending on your point of view, the world isn't just this island. This is a crossroads of chaos. Every banner and flag and pennant of Alexandria has crossed through this island. But no one's ever lifted a finger to dispose of the organizations in power here that create these people around me that need a place to hide or aren't wanted or are used up to the point that their usefulness is no longer capable for whatever purpose that the copper guilds and the copper keepers and the others have in mind for their skills.
So what if we could do something about that?
What do you mean?
The Dampier that live here are highly talented.
The Dampier that live here, that's weird.
I use for lack of a better word, they live here, okay? That reside here. Yes, okay.
Eventually, two other gnomes come by. They hand a tankard of ale to Gribbles and a tankard of ale to you, and they just kind of disappear in amongst the crowds. And Gribbles kind of takes a pull from his tankard. Oh, well, now that's better.
I agree. Where did this ale come from? That's good stuff. So, the Dampier that live here, that reside here, they have great power. They somehow were able to ferry that arcane cage from the ship that we arrived on to Sibo's hovel. I don't know how that happens. That's a talent that I don't possess. But I'm certainly at least somewhat skilled at organizing talent in such a way as to cause disruptions. And if we can cause enough disruption, we can pull out leadership and, snakes, no heads, that kind of thing.
I suppose, but I'm not really sure what this conversation is pointing towards. If you think you could deal with the guilds that are currently running the island, they're pretty formidable. And what do you replace them with?
I just kind of look intently at Ribbles.
Oh, so you don't know either.
You, Ribbles. You down
Me?
here. You caretakers of the downtrodden. You protectors of the needing protecting. Oh God, the ale already. What's in this drink? The society here, down here, everyone depends on each other. That's as it should be. Without some miserly profiteer milking every last coin out of you. I mean, that's what happened to many of those down here, if your story is to be true, right?
I guess. I mean, I've never really thought of any other opportunities other than just surviving.
How did you end up down here, Ribbles?
Well, I was in charge of operating the main drill works and exploding works of the main mines that they use to extract all the metals and stone that they need for the manufacture of what they did with it. I don't remember. It's not something I even cared about at the time. The pay was good. I was young and stupid and saw an advantage, saw an opportunity, and I took it. I unfortunately grew old. The task became more difficult, and they simply told me to be on my way.
Can I roll insight on that?
Mm-hmm.
That was a 1.
Oh no!
As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Wow, riveting tale, my friend.
Yeah. Well, and then I couldn't really afford to live up there, and I think I remember when I offloaded from the ship upon arrival at Gnomeworks, I remembered seeing this little harbor, this bay, this little secluded area. So I came down here, looked at some of the coal habitats, and I said to myself, somebody must have already lived down here at some point. And that's when I ran into Sibo. She'd already laid claim to one of the coral houses.
So
I laid claim to the next one, and we just kind of found each other here.
the young Dampier that brought us here,
Yes.
there was some energy in that water. Where does that energy come from? I could grasp no nexus of that energy when we were.
I don't know.
through.
I mean, we've even had conversations about how we seem so oddly lucky or protected by everything that goes on around us.
Until zombie dinosaurs approach and.
Well, we've dealt with other threats before. That one just seemed a bit larger and more unusual. I mean,
You have threats that have been carved on in such a way?
No. I guess unusual is an understatement. Yes, this creature's quite unique. We've never experienced anything like it before. But we've had wandering raptors and snakes and jungle creatures come and go from time to time. But our agreements with the lizard clans help keep things at bay for the most part.
Agreements, you say? What
Yeah.
exactly are those agreements, if I may pry?
Well, it's not really any kind of great secret. When old Sawtooth requires things that he can't get, we trade for foodstuffs and other resources, and we pretty much barter with each other, give each other what we need. They protect the main paths and areas that we hunt in. We agree not to go to the center of the island and disrupt their ceremonial events that they have from time to time. and we shelter their existence from the upper wards.
There were 2 lizard folk who were searching for something in the place I stayed in the upper wards.
Well, not all lizard folk are from the same place. They could be different lizard folk.
I suppose so, but the
Most
odds
of the lizard folk we deal with are quite wild and prefer the protection of the greenery and the wild places. They're not particularly fond of existing or being in places with a lot of people.
Have you heard mention of a lizard folk named Scaleback?
Scaleback. No, in fact, the per typical clan development of family structure, lizard folk tend to name themselves based on their clan. So, for example, Scaleback is probably a clan name that they use. Sawtooth's clan, if they use names, it's followed with the name Sawtooth. So he goes by the name of Greenskin Sawtooth, and that's how he's known. But he also wears his clan markings on his tattoos, and he is very much their chieftain. And him and his partner manage the clans very well.
What do you know of the rituals that they perform? I mean, you mentioned you protect them while they perform their rituals.
Well, we don't protect while they perform them.
You protect their secrets so that they're allowed to perform their rituals.
Yeah, we do our best to make sure that the folks that dwell up above can't find them and interfere with whatever they're doing. I mean, I would say Sawtooth is very much a very shamanistic being. My conversations with them have been that they've kind of spent most of their time protecting the island by keeping something contained within it. And most of their ceremonies are totems and ritualistic protective magics.
I would very much like to meet this Sawtooth.
I can certainly give you a map as to where their tribal location is, and you're free to go and meet him.
I'm just going to say, I suspect that, they're used to seeing gnomes wandering through here, maybe Dhampir, but not humans, elves, giant cat persons, tigers with gnomes on their backs, with dragons, and, how can I approach them without them identifying us as a threat and attacking? Because that's the last thing I want.
Well, take them something to barter with, of course.
What do I need?
I don't know. Foodstuffs, weaponry, things that they could use to hunt with. They are very proficient hunters. They typically hunt with blow darts and spears. Be creative.
All right.
I could point you in the direction.
My friend, my gnomish friend has a pretty special map.
Oh, really?
I'm sure if you could describe this location to her, that location could possibly make itself revealed on our map. If not, if you do have any parchment around, you could draw a map. Hopefully better than, some turn left at that tree, right at this tree. There are certainly a lot of trees in the forest. I would not want to get lost there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this jungle that would downright just eat you, or do other foul things to you.
That Tyrannosaurus didn't lay a finger on me, a claw on me.
Oh, interesting. More marks of your success, then.
I kind of fidget at the little scar on my cheek from the everything else that's ever happened.
Yeah. Well, would be glad to give you all the information I have in regards to where they're located, and then your gnomish friend, can help you discern where to go next.
One last question, I guess, to take up your time. 1 second, digging through my notes. Where's the notes on the? There it is. The sprocket. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to find the notes on the journals, just to kind of. Here we go. The manifest. Okay. So, wait. Did you say scaleback? Scaleback. Never mind. That's the scaleback I brought up. Sorry. Wrong. Forget that.
Yes, you're the one that brought him up, not me.
I'm gonna pull out the captain's log from one of the ships. I've had it in my bag.
From which ship?
The one that was captain log with the signature from Grimmer, or Grimmir's, the Thundershroud Guild. Captain Hearn. It was the journal log. I think that was the ship. We only had the log from the one ship.
The gnome ship?
The gnome ship, the one that got attacked by the Kraken. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't get the log for the ship that crashed on the island, but we
That's
got
right.
the one from the one that was attacked by the Kraken.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm going to pull it out at first and just kind of see what his reaction is. I'm going to pull it out and kind of gauge his reaction as I pull out the book and see, because I think the book had the crest of the guild. Maybe a mention of the ship on the outside. Why do you roll insight to gauge his reaction?
Not really, because he reacts the moment you pull it out. Where'd you get that?
You recognize this?
Well, I recognize the emblem.
There was a ship that had been attacked by a Kraken. We got there too late. The ship had already been thoroughly dismantled. While wandering the decks of the ship, came across this among other items. But that ship was carrying something. The Kraken, it seemed obvious that the Kraken somehow had known to reach into the bowels of the ship to try and get something out. And I've never known a wild animal to do that.
Well, I mean, to claim that you think it's a Kraken, I mean, that's pretty far-fetched, don't you think?
My friend, you know the guy that has the junk pile that gives away all the stuff? He gave me this bag.
Yeah.
I gave the Kraken claws to him. You can go. I don't have them on my person anymore. I used them to purchase this bag and a fancy bow that apparently talks to my friend. But I assure you, it was a juvenile, not a full Kraken. It was
the lesser ones,
smaller,
one of the ones
yeah.
that.
The ship itself was not some massive galleon. It was a sloop. But whatever attacked this ship was intent in trying to get something out of that ship.
Well, I guess the real question of the day is, what are you doing with a book from the Wanderman Assembly? That's their original crest on that book.
Is it the Coppermaker's crest on the book?
Yeah, it was the Coppermaker's ship. So I'm gonna pull out my badge, like how I didn't. I'll pull out the badge that was given to us by what's her face way back when, like a week ago, but
yeah.
But what's her face way back when? I pull out the badge and just kind of look at the comparison between them, and also kind of gauging Gribble's reaction.
No, you misunderstand me. There are many generations of the family, of the Wanderman family. That crest there on the book is the original generation that set out to explore the Shattered Isles.
But
And you said this was on the Copper Keeper's ship.
The Coppermaker's ship, yes.
The Copper Makers.
I mean,
Huh.
there were so many guilds present in the hold of that. Like, yes, the Coppermakers, but there were others that had, there were boxes from other guilds sealed within the Coppermaker's ship. Yes.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. They trade often in many different things. What's in that book?
Hang on, I had to go back to the page. Sorry.
What happens when you establish a line of questioning?
I know. Well, I keep flipping back and forth, taking new notes. So, there's a journal by 6 months. There was each new voyage. About 15 new pages for each one. There's the journal and log. They originated in Diwali. And they were heading to Marquisia and Drusar. And then no Morks for a while. And they were onboarded from the Thundershroud Guild. But the signature here in the book is from a Grimmer. I can't. It's a script that I have difficulty reading. I kind of show him the signature.
Grimer.
Yeah. Any of those. I mean, obviously, no Morks. We know the locations: Diwali, Marquisia, Drusar. But
May I look at the book for a moment?
I hand him the book.
Hefts it over. Turns it around. Looks at the binding. Huh. You watch as he cracks the binding. And the spine of the book flattens out. And he lifts the entire interior of the book so it comes out of the leather binding. And in between the leather binding and the book inserts is an old folded up piece of parchment stitched into the book itself. This book has been altered. It was something else before. I don't even know they think they understood what they had. I think they took an old cover, put it on a log that they were using, and simply used it for a purpose. But whoever made this, whoever manufactured it, he kind of like pulls out and hands you a small folded up old crinkly piece of parchment that is folded neatly in like a messenger kind of method. And there's a wax seal on it with an emblem.
Do I recognize the emblem?
Give me a history check.
Well, I guess because we have the other scroll with the emblem that we found that we never opened.
Nope.
So we not the same. It's different. Okay.
No,
right,
different
yeah.
emblem.
Okay. Ooh, that's 15. History is 5, so that's a 22.
Oh, you recognize it. It's the emblem of the Cerberus Assembly.
Oh, great.
But it's old. And there's Elvish script in the emblem.
I'm going to ponder a bit on the Cerberus Assembly. Aside from what we're talking about right now, so I guess out of character, that's the group that deals with Dundalian Empire. They're like the learners, the seekers for those guys, right?
The Cerberus Assembly, in its current state, after kind of being corrected by the Cobalt Soul and being involved with a group called the Mighty Nine, they suffered greatly in their organizational control and their influence over the Dwendalian Empire. The Dwendal Empire itself is kind of going through a transitional change as well. The monarchy is not quite what it used to be, and the way they control and do things, while in the countryside could still appear bleak, back within Rexingtrum, things are shifting and changing all the time. But You do recognize the name on the wax. You've seen it before, but they're languishing in prison somewhere. But this is old. This
Right.
paper feels old. The name on the wax seal is Ludendorff.
How old would you date this parchment?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 50 years or so. Maybe older. I mean, you recognize the emblem too, don't you?
Yes.
Their ships do come here from time to time. In fact, one of their flagships is in the harbor now.
We encountered the special guest from that flagship. He nearly killed me. Only 2 days ago.
Yes.
Mason.
Yes, Mason.
He's not a friend. To be honest, I'm not sure what he is. He is not only a man anymore, though. You know, with these Dampier running around and all of the constructs and those siege beasts and all of that stuff happening in Gnomeworks, this place is just the capital of war profiteering of Exandria.
There's always profit in war.
There's also a lot of death in war.
Which equals more profits. Someone's got to get paid to bury the dead, don't they?
Well, the natural dead still need buried as it is.
Well, I think you overthink what goes on here a bit. Sure, the trade here is under the shade, as they say. There are those that believe that the guilds that function here with a purpose of secretly building things that they would not be otherwise allowed to sell in other empires. But yet those empires have made them forbidden, come here and buy them anyways. That's not something linked to the inequities of being alive or dead. That's merely just shitty leadership. A world full of bad leaders doesn't necessarily mean it's a world full of bad people.
Oh, the world is not full of bad people. Unfortunately,
some would disagree.
There are bad people, but the world is not full of bad people. The world is simply run by bad people.
Sometimes that seems to be the case.
My background, it's the truth.
Well, not everybody shares your same viewpoints on everything. I imagine that whatever suffering you've been through was with purpose and intent, and you've come out the other side a very unique individual.
I reach my hand down and put it on his back, like while holding the ale in the other hand, and say, like, this place doesn't seem to have half bad leadership as well.
Oh, you continue to stroke the cat, don't you?
No,
I'm not interested in running
somewhere.
this island. So you can get that idea out of your head.
What's that they say about the best one to do a job is the one that doesn't want to do it?
Well, I can clarify that statement for you. Since they have never been identified to me, I therefore do not listen to they. And he just kind of finishes his tankard and tosses it onto the nearby box and begins to walk away and just kind of disappear into the streets and the crowd.
Like, as he's walking away, I'm gonna let him know, how'd you get on the council then?
Give me another persuasion. Give me a persuasion check on that one, and see if it causes him to stop to talk about that.
Nat 20. So with persuasion added, that's 32.
32.
Oh my God.
There's one of those bardic rolls. You gotta love it.
when it counts, you know.
When it counts, it counts. He stops and he turns around. It's not a formal council. I don't necessarily lead it. It's a council of 3 individuals that care about a community of people that are suffering based on what goes on up above.
And I'm not that kind of bard.
He just kind of looks at you for a moment. I'll think on it. I'll think on it. And he turns and seems very kind of flummoxed that he was kind of like sidelined by your comment.
I'm gonna like raise my glass at him, you know, as he turns.
And you can actually hear him mumble a bit, like, God damn it, fucking shit. And he's just kind of like disappearing into the crowd at this point.
I'll go back to Sibo's because, you know, I'm supposed to get some clothing from her at some point.
Yep, it'll be right today. Xanath, what are you doing at this point?
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to Sibo's as well. I
Okay.
think I gotta get some sleep.
Okay, that's fair. Spot, you are currently inside one of the most lavish tree interiors you've ever been in. As you stand there looking at the matron's complex, it is massive. The tree itself on the outside looked very normal, but on the inside, it's pretty massive to a mouse folk. To you, it's merely comfortable. But this, I mean, the interior is maybe 2 stories, multiple rooms. He's got plenty of space to be able to do whatever he wants to do. But once again, as a normal sized tabaxi, it's just barely comfortable enough for you to fit in. I'm sorry about the space. It's not really designed for people of your size.
No worries at all. This is easily top 10 hollowed out trees I've ever been in. Well done.
The fact that you've been in multiple hollowed out trees is fascinating. Anyways, your fur will not do. You watch as his little mouse folk hands kind of prestidigitate your fur for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you're clean, but you're poofy.
Okay, this is awkward. I don't like being poofy in front of people. Just gotta kind of go over in a corner and start combing my fur out.
And by the way, if your laptop microphone's your microphone being that far back, I can't hear you as well.
Oh, sorry about that. That's not any better.
Oh yeah, the webcam. Yeah, now I can hear you better. Thank you.
Sorry, I was saying I'm going over to the just to a corner, just kind of shoo him away, just kind of like I don't like people looking at me while I'm puffy. Just start kind of grooming my hair down.
He kind of wanders over to a tea kettle, starts pouring tea into a larger size cup than he would use, and it takes him a couple trips. And eventually he just points to a normal sized teacup for you that's been filled with this kind of like herbal medicinal tea. Drink it up. It'll help. Trust me. It'll help.
Okay. I take a sip.
It's very minty with a kind of weird kind of alkaline flavor to it. And there's like floating herbs inside of it. You get another 8 hit points back after you start drinking the tea.
Now, you say minty. How minty? I am a cat.
It's minty.
So my pupils have gone like fully dilated. He has my attention.
I mean, whether or not it's catnip minty, probably not, but it's minty.
It's the same family. Some effect.
Oh my God, what have I done? Your pupils are blown out. Oh,
I'm guessing
shit.
you're probably not like probably not super on top of like a pharmacology when it comes to cats. anything in the mint family is a very active stimulant for us. The Pizoomies are a real thing, okay?
I'm so confused right now. Okay, just calm down, settle, sit, stay. This mouse folk is just like doing all the quintessential things you could do to prevent you from literally racing around and destroying the interior of his home. Because it would happen. You're big enough. So, let's talk about what you and your friends are really up to. Because I have questions.
Okay.
It takes a great deal of power and effort to bring a person back from the dead. It's not a minor process. And if she ever dies again, it'll be almost nearly impossible to bring her back. Bringing people back from the dead is difficult, expensive. It just so happens your payment's going to be some questions I want answered.
Okay, I'll do what I can.
Now, what are you and your friends really doing on this island?
We're trying to find some information about. We were trying to help a guy that was stuck in a bullywog form. That didn't go so well.
But that's not what brought you to this island specifically.
No, we were on a boat. We were trying to prove that the heir to the Wanderman Assembly was the only one left, so that they could open a blood vault.
Oh, so you do have an ulterior mission in mind.
Well, I mean, the captain knew about that. I don't know that I call it an ulterior motive. I mean, I'm here for a sense of adventure and stuff. I don't know why the other guys are here.
Oh, so you don't really have any interest in finding this information. Now, as far as your perspective is, as long as it's a good time, everything will be just fine.
Pretty much. This is really fun.
See, now I can trust that sensibility. I can't really get on board with the higher than Mao sensibility of kind of like your friend Earthen, or I get a little prickly around the religious types. I find them to be a little nonsensical.
No. Again, I'm a terrible monk. Full disclosure.
Oh, clearly. You're pretty terrible at everything.
I'm good
that
at
I've seen. I'm assuming your specialties are
murder.
Yes, and if that's your specialty, usually there aren't people left around to witness dead murders.
You weren't there when we were beating up that undead T-Rex.
No, I'm still a bit baffled by that. I've never seen its like. The amount of magic and what it takes to create such a beastie is no light feat under any stretch of the imagination. You have to find an original carcass of a creature. You have to do heavy magics to raise it from its dead form. And then there's a lot of other things that are required to make it do anything with purpose or intent.
I can't help you there. I'm a punchy monk, not a magic-y monk. That is all way above my ears.
All right. I saved the wrong fucker. Okay. Listen, just finish your tea and you know what? I may, you know what? Just finish your tea, relax, get your wind back, and then shit. And he just kind of wanders off, sits in a chair and starts kind of like picking at the bread and meat that are sitting there, and he's like eating it. And he's like, you get a feel he's like lost in deep thought right now.
I'm quite a good cook. Can I repay you with a simple but delicious meal?
Sure, feel free. The larder's over there, and not much of a kitchen, but there's enough to be able to prep food if that's what you require.
To see what he's got in there.
Okay, give me investigation as you start looking around.
All right, that is an 18.
Just about every dried or natural kind of ingredient you'd need.
Of course,
dried meats,
well
dried fish, lots of herbs, wild onions, kind of like jungle vegetables, jungle squash, jungle fruit. So there's a lot of options here when you start looking around the space.
Matron, what's a dish that you really like?
Honestly, one I don't have to prepare myself.
Cool. Okay, but like specifically, like what's the type of thing that you would ask someone like above your skill level in cookery to prepare for you? Something that you.
I'm very fond of stews.
Cool. Yes. All right. I'm going to get a stock on on the hearth, boiling some water, and I'm going to start cauldron on the hearth rather. Start boiling some water and peeling vegetables, looking at the dried meats, and making some choices, figuring out what's going to go best with what.
Okay. So with that, you're going to spend your time cooking. Puck, eventually you hear the door open, and within moments of each other, both Xanath and Earthen return from wherever they went. So the three of you are back together again in Sibo's place. Sibo looks up from her workbench where her and Puck are working on something. Oh, good, you're back. Everybody keeps referring to you as naked. I don't know why you're wearing clothes, but your clothes are ready.
It's not everybody. It's the one that got caught naked in the bar drinking some crazy hooch and going wild with his buddies. It's not everybody. Come on.
Well, that's fine. I don't really care. She picks up the clothing and walks it over to you in a bundle with a nice bit of string binding it all together. When you wear these clothes, you'll have advantage on stealth.
All right. I'm gonna like hold them and like close my eyes and pull the string. Please be fleshy. Please be fleshy. Ooh, purple. How'd you know?
I just, you look like the kind that wears purple.
I was getting tired of these drab rags. I can't. You should have seen what that Mason guy was wearing. It was profound. The colors, the flash, the glitter, the shine. He tried to kill us, but man, he was dressed well.
I would imagine the reason why you're down here is because he probably nearly did kill you.
Yeah. Very, very, very nearly. I'll like kind of rub the stab wound. It's healed, but where it was. So I like turn to look at Xanth and Puck.
And Winter's sitting over at the table.
And Winter.
Lost in thought. She keeps mumbling about options to get information out of the captain.
So I've put the book back together that Gribbles kind of pulled apart. I put it back together and then I pull it out in front of everyone at gauging Sibo's reaction, but as well as asking them, remember this?
Yeah, from the gnome ship.
Right. And I glance over at Sibo.
She's busy working on the journal she's building for Puck.
Okay, so she's not paying attention. All right.
Not particularly.
Yeah. I talked to Gribbles. And it's Gribbles with a G. Sorry. I feel bad wrong naming him. So Gribbles says that the crest here is an old Wanderman crest. An old Wanderman crest.
How old?
He didn't say. But look at this. And I'm going to just take the book apart the way he did to reveal the parchment that's still inside. See this parchment? Do any of you recognize the seal here?
Xanath definitely would. Puck, you can give me a history check, see if you'd recognize it.
It's an 8.
Yeah, you don't recognize it, unfortunately.
This is the seal of the Cerberus Assembly. But this parchment is at least maybe 50 years old.
And you haven't opened it?
Not yet, no. But I had I had an interesting conversation with Gribbles. A little bit about the history of gnome works, and I'm just going to kind of fill them in on what we talked about there, talking about the log and some background on the paper as well. Also, what I know about the Cerberus Assembly, and then I'm going to take the note and lay it. I would walk over to the table where Winter is sitting, set it on the table, and because it's an old parchment, just delicately try to peel the wax and open it to see what the inside of the parchment reads.
Okay. Does anybody read Elven?
I do.
Right.
I think. Let me check. I'll double check it. I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, I have Elvish.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Me too. I mean, my wife is Elvish, so I need to talk to her somehow.
So the first thing all of you notice, the three of you notice, is that it's a pretty detailed map of what looks to be a volcanic mountain. In Elvish to the right is a detailed request from somebody that goes by the name of Ludendorff. At the time of writing this, they were a member of the Cerberus Assembly, and they note that in the detail of their writing. Yes, I hope you find this message well. I know we haven't spoken for a while, but I am in great need and in a bit of peril here. I believe that there is an item that lies hidden inside of an ancient chamber in the base of the volcano that resides on your island. So please, Master Grimer, if you could send a survey team or a mining team towards the areas of the map that I've pointed out in key notes, I'm sure you will find a vault. In that vault, you will find a sign that should mention something called the Cinder Crest King. I believe the Cinder Crest King was an ancient dwarven fortress that was led by a dwarf, and his vault, there is a item there that I seek for my own personal collection as it relates to the study of magic related to time and displacement of time itself. Signed, Ludendorff. P.S. Please message me or send a raven as soon as you have completed this task.
Well, I'm gonna reach back in the bag and pull out the other parchment that we haven't opened yet. That we were considering. Don't know what it is, but it looks official. But now that we're wanted, kind of on the surface, might as well open it. We had this too from the same trip. I'll lay it out and pop it open and see what we can find in there as well.
You pop the wax seal, you crack it, and the moment that you crack it, there's a vibration in the rolled up parchment, and it automatically unfurls itself and begins to reveal writing that wasn't there originally as you open it. At first, you were just staring at a blank parchment, and now writing is beginning to appear. Does anybody speak Infernal?
I do.
Xanath, as you curiously look over the shoulder of Earthen, it is a scroll crafted in Infernal, and it's a spell effect called Speak with Dead. but it feels very powerful. It feels written for a specific purpose. It feels like a spell effect that is designed to project out towards something, the way it's written. Almost as if this is a ceremonial scroll to speak with a very ancient dead power. The way that the flourish of the writing is, the ceremonial treatment of the writing.
Mm-hmm. Just to speak with it?
Yeah, as far as you can tell.
All right, I'll convey that to the group. I recognize this. This is infernal. This is a spell to speak with dead, but not like the thing I do. It's targeted. It's reaching out to something ancient and dead, an ancient dead power.
Like a dead god?
Could be.
I would say with your natural understanding of religion, Xanath, it does have that kind of like ceremonial, religious kind of overtone about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we only get to ask it 5 questions?
It feels more powerful than that, but it feels like the way the spell's written, it's only good for 1 question. So it doesn't feel like it's written in traditional arcane or divine or divinity way of Speak with Dead is. It's almost like this is something more to it. The complexity of it feels heavier. And that may be why it only works with 1 question.
Does it feel like you could like call or summon something with it?
Does it feel like you could summon something? But it definitely, well, give me a religion check since you're delving deeper into the nature of this.
All right.
This thing.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. It almost reads like a parable, as if it's written in a way that feels like you're speaking to a godly creature.
Oh, interesting.
Well, speaking to nefarious, strange, possibly godly beings has been
That's kind of your specialty, isn't it?
Yeah.
it's been bad luck so far. But if you want to try it,
No, not now, for sure.
I don't think
well, and from the component tree, a lot of what you need, like the focus, is strange. Actually, I'm wondering if you would recognize this. One sec. I didn't think this was going to happen tonight, but it looks like it's going to.
I feel like my general well, what about that? Makes that happen like a lot.
What about that thing from 15 sessions ago?
Right.
You think about that?
What about that cage that we saw down there? What about that corner? What about that thing?
This scroll looks like it's been purposely designed to speak to something called the shadow.
Ooh.
The shadow.
Does that ring any bells in my mind?
I'm gonna kind of look over at Sibo when we say that out loud too, like the shadow.
Yeah, she's not really paying attention.
She's not okay.
Yeah, like she's very much invested in writing the journal. Give me a religion check again, Xanath, because this might help.
Okay. That's an 8, so that's going to be a 13.
13 is actually still pretty good. The shadow is sometimes referred to as one of the Dark Six. One of the betrayer gods.
Oh.
Not a formal name for its existence, but often those that practice the art of assassination will revere this entity of the betrayer gods. And this feels like a scroll. It's been crafted with both the intent of speak with dead, with a little bit of commune arcane written into it. This is someone who's written a ceremony that may allow a person to speak directly with the betrayer god.
Oh.
And ask it one question.
Can I do an
What?
insights check to see if any of it at all correlates to any of the stuff I've seen?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
As she's doing that, I'm just gonna be like, "What the hell was on that ship?"
Ooh, I got a nat 20, so that's 21.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
There's two things that pop out to you in regards to this. One is the style, and you're pretty handy when it comes to the importance of stylistic writing. In your roguish nature, as well as your ranger nature, right? It's always important to understand the signs of things. The lettering and the way this is written matches almost ideally to the style of the writings on the outside form of the construct of the T-Rex.
Oh no.
The shadowy nature of the writings and the design of the ceremony is very reminiscent of what you kind of saw in some of your visions with the dark entity at the base of the volcano, at least in the bowels of the volcano.
Oof.
Those are the two things that really pop out for you.
There was. Sorry. Okay, I remember there were like 6, because I do remember the number 6 because I think there were like 6 figures.
There were.
Is there any correlation there, or is 6 just a bad luck number?
I mean, it could be a representation of the Dark Six.
Yeah, that's not good.
So we're dealing this thing in the volcano could be a betrayer god.
Or at least trying to.
We are
talk
crazy
to
out of
him.
our depth, so
I mean, if they're not the betrayer god, they're trying to talk to him.
yeah.
Where the hell is Spot?
Oh God, someone must be talking about me.
He's gonna be like out naked somewhere, just frolicking. I mean, hey, frolic all you want, but you know, maybe this is not the place to frolic.
That sounds like a man who's never frolicked in the jungle.
Sounds like the man who's never been nearly devoured by a forest dryad, but you know.
Like
fair,
I'm the only one here.
To be fair, it was a jungle dryad. They're far more
jungle. I'm
powerful.
sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. But I'm the only one here.
I mean, the funny thing was, had I not rolled that natural 20 on the arc chart, for matron's intervention, I mean, you had one wisdom save left.
Oh no!
Oops.
You had one.
What
Yeah,
was
you had
my-
one.
what
We
was
would
my
have been going
save
through the
left.
forest looking for like upside down, lifeless Spot, and then trying to find the matron to bring him back now.
Oh no, that's not what jungle dryads do. He would have been a tree, like a plant, or he would have been permanently like moved into the undergrowth of the jungle, never to be seen again, ever.
Did you know Tabaxi could be druids?
Say, in a serious way, or in a he would have been a plant way?
He would have. Like, I've never seen wild shape like that before.
That's fair. That's very fair.
So,
Here's
well,
another thing. It sounded like Gribbles talked about mining on the island?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the history of the island. It sounds so. At least the gnomish history of the island. At least I guess sounds like a history of mining ore. I mean, remember the coral finger it had been cleaned out. Cleaned out, mined out, whatever.
Do you think that's why they're mining into the island to find something like this?
I'm wondering about that, but I'm also wondering about residuum. I think we're seeing insane amounts of residuum.
But doesn't that only
make
come from
sense that it's
Whitestone?
out here. That's what I'm wondering. Does it only come from Whitestone? I remember Red Rats guy, you told us that he told you there was like a valuable substance out here, and we didn't know what he meant. And now we're seeing residuum everywhere. Why are there so many people on this island? People aren't making it through the Shattered Isles. And Grimmer too. Grimmer talked about in his letter the box for mining that had to be cooled that was very dangerous to use. What's the box for mining for? Are they mining for this dwarven thing, or for the creature, or is it like for residuum?
Well, I show the map again. He's like, well, I guess we have a plan ahead, right? Puck, do you still have your map, right? That fancy map you bought back in. Can you find this place, or find, I don't know, the place leading to this place?
I can try. I pull out the map of Revelations.
Spot, you don't remember leaving, but at some point you're back at the edge of the Underdwell with Matron. You drank so much of the tea that the entire walk back, you were so busy talking and so busy educating Matron on the sensibilities of Tabaxi understanding, their culture, everything about them. Matron just looks up at you. I brought you back.
Yeah.
You're okay. Remember, jungle dryads. Don't talk to them.
Okay, but I don't think we touched on this during there. Again, kind of spaced out there for a little bit. I was really high. You did accidentally get me really, really high. But
Well, that's fair, but unfortunately, you really didn't have anything I needed to know. I'll be honest with you.
I made you food.
It was good. It was some of the best food I've ever had. The stew was amazing. Amazing.
I mean, I could tell you how to do that again.
No, that's fine. I feel like this relationship's going to go about as far as it can.
All right, I'll leave my monk questions for other people.
Yeah, I don't really know much about monks anyways. I wouldn't be able to help you with that.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure you should go around claiming you're a monk. That could be dangerous. I mean, just hope you never run into Grandmaster Groon. That could be very dangerous for sure.
Well, I mean, I am a minor acolyte. I'm not a good one, but I am trying to grow as a.
You keep throwing that word out, those words. I'm not very good. You should probably lead into it a bit. Say things like opportunity or challenges or I do really well if I drink a lot of booze. Things like that.
Fair. Okay, cool. So what you're
Like
saying
lean
is,
more towards your roguish nature. I don't know about this whole monk thing. That could get you in some serious trouble.
I liked it for some of their traditions. Like I learned a lot about punching people. Punching people was fun, and believe it or not, I do have a strong moral sense. I'm not really on board with this whole God thing, as you saw. Like I don't know how that shit goes, but
Yeah, well, sure, that's fair. Well, you know what? Go home, Spot. Go home.
okay.
And Matron kind of turns and immediately wild shapes into a small toucan and screeches off into the trees.
Why does he always pick delicious things?
So where are you heading off to, Spot?
I'm gonna wander back into town and excuse me, just head back to the house.
So as Puck, as you pull out the map of Revelations and you begin scanning it, the door opens. Spot comes in. He's very puffy. His pupils are blown out. He looks high as fuck. And he's just speaking in rapid tones.
Guys, I almost got killed by a forest rider or by a jungle rider. It was awesome. And then I had a long conversation with Mason about like Tabaxi because he doesn't know anything about Tabaxi. And like,
Okay,
I
I'm
don't think
gonna cast Charm Person. I have one spell slot left. I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
What's the save on that? Wisdom?
It's a Wisdom save, yeah.
Yeah, go for it, Spot.
All right, let's see what I get. 19.
Yeah, well, that was your DC for the third roll against the Jungle Dryad. That was brilliant. That was awesome.
I can't shut him up.
I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration on Spot.
So take away your point of exhaustion, Spot.
Okay.
And I also say you're no longer high. You are calmed down. You're normalized. You're looking around, going. Realize you're back in Sebos. No sign of Matron anywhere, but you're back.
I didn't want to from the zoomies quite like that. Okay.
God.
Hey guys, what's going on with you guys?
Puck's got her map out, kind of looking at you.
Ooh, we doing more skullduggery?
I'm gonna show him the book trick, the trick with the book. Like,
okay.
The parchment's out this time, but because the parchment's on the table. But like, I take the book and like, hey, you remember this? Watch this. So, Gribble showed me this. But first off, wait. This emblem is an old Wanderman emblem.
Okay.
And now that we've taken it apart, this parchment that's on the table here, you see the map and the Elvish script. That was inside the book. That was inside the binding of the book. And Gribbles acted like the person.
Now that Spot is back, Spot, you now understand what this book is.
Oh.
It's a message book.
Oh, cool.
It is designed to hide very secretive documents. It's purposely disguised as something it's not actually intended to be. And whoever would have received this book would have found the parchment in the binding. Based on the age of the parchment, you figure somebody used this book a very long time ago to deliver a message that never got delivered.
Oh, so you guys found a message book. Cool.
You've known this the whole time?
No, I know of them. I didn't know that was one. I can tell you that whoever this is sent to didn't open it. Like,
Well, that's something we learned.
I'm not a magician, but you might want to do maybe a detect magic or something and see if that spell is still a thing you can use, because that was not broken out. The message that this book was made to deliver that to, they never got this, so...
So Grimmer never got the message.
No. Whoever Grimmer is, no.
There's reason to believe that guy's still on this island, right?
I mean, the message is...
Grimer.
I mean, as far as you know, he's related to one of the orders of the guilds.
Yeah, the copper makers. But I mean, because even though this message is old and it's written to Grimer, but the captain's log and the other letters that were not old were also one of those was also addressed to Grimer.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it feels like somebody just bought this book somewhere thinking it was a regular old book, and they were just using it as a manifest, as a log.
But why would the old parchment be addressed to Grimer? How old is Grimer?
Hey, Sibo.
Yeah?
Do you recognize the name Grimer?
I'm not really that far from you. I shouldn't yell. Yeah? What you need?
Do you recognize the name Grimer at all?
Oh,
the
yeah.
copper makers.
He's one of the heads of the copper makers. Sits on the council.
How old is he?
I don't
not
know.
this council, that council, right?
Right, the one up top.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I would say, he's probably around 200 years old.
Yeah, all right.
He's an elderman for sure.
Humans are short-lived, right? I can't help it.
Well, it's the only way to explain your emotions.
Thank you again for the clothing.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Earthen, what does the clothing you're wearing look like?
You've seen
It's like a velvet painting, all purple.
Yes.
So,
flashy, sparkly,
and it gives you advantage on stealth checks.
Yes.
Okay, so now in character, I kind of feel like Spot kind of looks over at Earthen just once and just kind of turns back, like very, very obviously trying to not to look at Earthen. Just
You guys notice that as Spot gets close, he comes a little close by to kind of look at what Earthen's wearing. He kind of brushes up against the sleeve inadvertently, and you watch as the sleeve turns to the coloration of Spot's fur.
Ooh.
That's cool. I like this.
It gradually fades as Spot moves away from the clothing. And you figure the purple hues are probably a conglomeration of all the colors inside of Sibo's residence. And that's just how it's kind of manifesting itself.
You were saying?
I'm just impressed. Like your loud personality managed to override a chameleon cloak. That's honestly impressive.
Honestly, I'm surprised the first thing you didn't say in here was you have pants, even though I've been wearing pants the whole time.
I'm sure it's nothing to be ashamed of. You should be comfortable in your body, Earthen. I know humans are weird about stuff like that.
How many times I have to tell you, I'm not that kind of bard.
Can I poke his outfit?
Earthen's, how tall is Earthen? Just out of curiosity.
What do you do, Puck?
Less than 6 feet.
Okay, so yeah, I can very much just.
What do you do, Puck? You poke his outfit?
Yeah, just to check.
You go up, and as you poke it, there's like waves of iridescent light, kind of like cascade, as you cause the fabric to ripple.
Nice. Good fashion.
That's one of my better works. I mean, once you're out amongst the jungle, you'll blend in. I assure you.
Yeah. I really like the purple though. Anyway, I'm gonna pick up the infernal scroll and just kind of like delicately though, because it's infernal script and it's a very powerful spell, and kind of roll it back up gently. And I'm putting this thing away. If this thing gets in the wrong hands, I'm glad it's in our hands, but if it gets in the wrong hands, I don't know. This doesn't sound good.
Maybe hide it in the message book.
It's pretty big.
Oh, is it too big?
Yeah. You look at it, and Puck, what were you gonna look for on the map again?
I was gonna focus.
Connect the maps, I think, right?
Can we connect them?
We have the map of the
Cross-reference
caverns and stuff,
Oh.
right? But we don't know where necessarily the caverns and stuff are.
Yes.
So the challenge you've had with this map so far, or the revelation map, is that every time you try to focus on where the volcano is, it's just like darkness and shadow. Like it feels like you're looking at a fog bank.
I guess I'm just trying to focus on locations that like are seen in the map. I guess like as specific as possible.
Could you maybe compare, like, I mean, look at these paths in, right? There's all these different paths in towards, yeah, the volcano is here, but there's all these paths in there. Is there anything about the path that you could?
I mean, so like when you look at the map and when you manifest the map, it shows other people what you could see with the map, because the map is the magical artifact that's giving you this insight and understanding. So everyone could see the fog bank that you consider to be where the volcano is. But the edge of this bank of shadow is all jungle canopy and jungle forest, with one exception. In the southeast portion or southwest portion of the map, it seems to be showing you the location of Sawtooth's tribal village.
Oh.
And you're beginning to trace hunting trails that traverse the jungles, and it looks to be maybe a solid 4-hour hike to get to Sawtooth's tribal village.
Okay, coming back in like an hour and a half. Someone hadn't taken away my zoomies.
Hey,
You're welcome, by the way.
thank you.
Can I find can I try and focus on the elven fortress at all?
The dwarven.
Yes, dwarven.
Give me a survival check as you try to see if you can manifest it on the map.
It's in the realm of steam now.
14.
Once again, you focus on it and you think about it, and it must be in that fog of darkness. Can't get through it. It's like something is able to prevent the map from functioning in that space.
Oh. Okay, then. Well, that might be the extent of it.
Well, it's late. It might be a good time. So I talked to Gribbles. That looked like the lizard settlement, right? The lizard folk settlement. Gribbles seems to think those guys are trying to contain some kind of force, he said. So I think we have a way to get there to speak with them. I don't know. That seems like the next course of action right at this point, right? Actually, unless if Caliban comes back with Mannheim.
Why do we not think the lizard folk wouldn't immediately kill us when we showed up?
Well, so I talked to Gribbles, and the gist of what he said was, as long as we bring stuff to trade, that we should be okay.
But
I wondered the same thing. I thought they were going to kill us too. And he said, no, just take them something to trade.
But don't we think don't we think that they sent the undead T-Rex on behalf of the Harbinger?
So,
if they did, I don't know. In my culture, having just dispatched something like that, it might not be what we would have wanted, but that would have been a pretty amazing feat. And at the very least, if they did do that, that'd be a sign that they should probably at least respect us a little bit. Also, God, I need to talk to one of the little Domfear in a bit.
No, go ahead.
No, it was unrelated.
I guess I just think if we're gonna if we're gonna go talk to lizard folk, I think we need to be real careful because I think unless like someone is framing them, like they tried very hard to kill us.
So, Gribbles, so far as I can tell, Gribbles is an honorable man. And he's trying to do right by the people here in the Underworld. I don't think he would send us on something that would get us killed.
But they've had a good relationship with the lizard folk until now. So on that basis,
But
he might
they
think
don't.
it's safe.
But they don't have a bad relationship with the lizard folk.
But we have a
Now.
bad relationship with the lizard folk
We
because they're trying to kill us, right?
Are they?
I'm gonna like knock on her helmet, be like, like, is he telling you? What are you hearing?
I guess like I'm just literally putting together the facts of like we know that they worship the thing at the center of the mountain, or that's what we've been told.
Well, that's not what Gribbles said. Gribbles said they're trying to contain something. It's like when they first told it, who first told us? I forgot who first told us. They said they worship the thing, but then Gribbles said they're trying to contain the thing, something. They're trying to contain something at the center of the mountain. I asked him specifically about that because I wondered, and he said they're trying to contain something there. And if they're trying to contain something, and a little bit over here, got this terrible, awful vibe off of the thing at the center of this mountain, I think they're helping. Maybe they're not helping us directly, but they're helping the island at least.
All right. I mean, I just think we should go in really careful because I mean,
Sure, yeah. We have to take something that they want. And I did ask Gribbles what they might want. He said, "Well, we've got food for one. Personally, I don't know about food, but weapons, anything for hunting, those kinds of objects that they could use to hunt with. I was thinking of checking out that junk pile in the morning, the one where we found the bow, and I got the bag. I'm sure they've got something there we can carry with us."
I have an idea for that. When the Denfir come back, I might ask one of them to retrieve something for me. I offered up my spear topside in a temple to Timora. I kind of feel like this might be how she's communicating. I gave up an incredibly valuable magical spear, and we just got word of a culture that values, hunting weapons and shows of gifts like that.
Are you suggesting we steal from an offering that you gave to your goddess?
I'm suggesting that possibly we could get one of our little friends to bring it back. I think this might be how Timora is directing us. Which of us has nearly died in all of our fights, Errand?
Not the last one.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Hey,
Speaking of,
I did not.
speaking of, has anyone maybe gotten any wind of where Devon might have went?
No, my conversation with Mason was rather unproductive. Not the friendliest guy.
Well,
I tried locating him, and I think Sibo did as well, and he seems to have some kind of protection. It makes him difficult to find.
Oh, well, I'm a fan of vengeance, so, if you hear anything. Also,
You said he said something about a master. What master would he be talking about?
I think he was talking to the thing in the volcano, which is why I initially thought he might be going there, but...
When oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I don't know.
When I communed with Helm earlier, I asked him if Devon was looking for the Martinet, and he said he was.
Oh,
That
no.
may be a place to find him if we want to find him.
Do you just call it Helm because you wear it on your head?
It's the name of the god.
I mean, I know there's a god helm, but it
Well,
seems a little literal.
the thing I was.
All right, that's bardic. That's a very bardic response. That's a D6 inspiration right there. That was so bardic.
So wait.
Bard complaining about the literal description of something. That is brilliant.
D6 for making fun of my deity.
You know. I mean, we just had a cat who's got a luck.
You're definitely kind of channeling your inner Scanlan there for a moment.
The thing I was talking to when I was dead seemed to have taken interest in me because I have previously spoken to the turtle dragon, which may be a tie-up to whatever is going on at sea right now, and the turtle dragon that we encountered on the boat. So
Then-
I don't know if that's a loose thread, but
Do we? You want to? Can we try to talk to that again?
haha, no.
I mean, you said last time he was like, no, don't talk to me again. But if he knew there was some big evil presence looking for him, whatever. I mean, I would value that knowledge. I would value the knowledge of someone coming to me saying, hey, there's this guy with a fake eye and stabby daggers and fancy clothes trying to kill you. I value that knowledge.
My concern is that I might be, accidentally doing what the volcano thing wants me to do and somehow lead him to it. So I might take a minute before doing it, but I do have a spell now that allows me and 10 other people breathe underwater, or I can after the long rest. So, I mean, we probably shouldn't because the merfolk don't like us. But
Well, we don't know that. We just know the shark guy doesn't like us.
no, I think we know that.
The shark guy doesn't. If the shark guy's not a merfolk, he's a were shark. That's different.
I think none of them like us.
Tabaxi, mouse folk. There's all kinds of people in this world, or humanoids in this world
They're pretty
that are not
unanimously hate
gnomes,
us.
elves, and humans, and
Isn't your special ability supposed to be like rallying people? Because you're really bad at it.
Hey.
I'm just saying, like, you've managed to collect like 4 people that don't actively want to kill you most of the time, and
look at all we've done together.
I'm counting like 6 or 8 like really powerful people that really want you particularly dead. Like, I'm just saying. You're the one that's like,
Well-
I'm going to dig into it. Don't get me wrong, this is a lot of fun, and I'm in. I'm just saying, you're bad at your job.
See, I am. You're in. It didn't take any convincing at all. You grabbed a magic door and shocked the shit out of yourself, and you're still following me around.
Eh,
That's fair.
it's funny.
I'm just gonna say, for the near future at least, I don't know that I'm gonna trust or try to talk to anything bigger than like an animal. But Helm seems to have been so far a pretty reliable source for us. So maybe since he has representation on the island, that could be a slightly more reliable guide for us.
Could you? Well, I don't know if you could summon your fish friend, but couldn't your fish friend relay a message? Then you're not communing directly.
If I go to the water next to our boat, then I can, but he's not
Yeah.
the sharpest sardine in the box. He's not smart. He's very cute though, very sweet, kind heart, great humor. I hear a wonderful lover, too many fish.
Okay. So he's a bard fish?
Yes, and his name is Filber. Please relay his song.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was like, I got a weird asterisk here in one of the sessions, something about a filber fish. Like, oh yeah,
Yep.
she's just been talking them all up. Somewhere out there, if he hasn't been eaten yet, is a fish making inquiries about merfolk.
Well, I don't know there's much more we can do today, and kind of glance at the window. It's pretty dark out now. I'm exhausted. and like look at like kind of needles at Spot there. Like when I say exhausted.
Oh, Zed took care of that.
What? No, he's still
Yeah.
annoying.
I'm not high.
He's not high, but he's still annoying.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I'm gonna go lay down.
Well, could you guys go maybe lay down in somebody else's house? You could have been here all day.
Fine, and like I would like hook my pack on
Go
and
stay
head.
at the Raven. They got
Exactly,
plenty of
yeah.
rooms.
Yep.
Good. Go on. Go on. Leave.
Good.
I'll pop the dome at the Raven for those who would like to sleep in it.
A safe place.
Do you have any suggestions for how to like really annoy Errand? I'm just saying. I'm behind schedule. TikTok.
So as the five of you, pile out of Sibo's place and back over across the way to the Raven, it's a pretty muted group. There's a lot of people just drinking and gossiping and neither celebrating or kind of living in fear of what happened, just the kind of machinations of conversations that people that live very differently are clearly having very interesting conversations about it. They see the five of you come in and they all turn their attention towards you, and you can hear them kind of like giving accolades and thank yous, and there's a definite wholehearted recognition that what was accomplished was definitely for their benefit. But some look at you kind of suspiciously. Some look at you with that kind of folksy concern of those that bring bad luck into a very kind of, paranoid community that lives on the edge of a very autocratic existence.
I flick a gold piece at the bartender.
Ow! Why'd you do that? Oi!
I'm not.
Ah!
Sorry. Look, sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm not
just
that
kidding,
skilled
man. It's
with
fine. I just
But
couldn't help but do that to you.
that was for that barrel of ale that incinerated outside the door. You've done some nice work repairing the place so far.
Yeah, it's coming along.
You can hardly
wait,
tell
wait,
a T-Rex put his face to the door.
Well, it wasn't so much the door as the front over the. See where all those tarpaulins are? Yeah, that's not really a wall anymore. We cleared out all the rubble, and we got tarps over like all the holes. Canvas kind of. So listen, I don't really have a room for you right now.
Surprise, surprise.
There was damage, a lot of damage.
I bet there's a stable out back, right?
We don't have any horses. Why would we have a stable?
Okay, good. All this talk of gods.
We don't. Are we supposed to have gods too in a stable?
Are there any?
Your questions are confusing. Are you drunk?
No, but I've had an ale.
An AO. I don't know what that is.
An ale.
Oh, an ale. Oh,
An
okay.
ale.
Oh. Sorry.
I'm gonna
I
cut
think he's,
Errand off.
I think he's drunk.
Hey, just quick question, just out of curiosity. Did my friend misspeak? Was that actually a barrel of ale that we used to set the T-Rex on fire? Because if so, I'm very curious about your distilled spirits.
No, that was actually. I was going to reseal the roof this season, and that was all the tar I was going to use. I believe our friend stole that from up above, but that's fine. I'll get more. It had its value, its purpose.
He said ale, and I was like, if that's what y'all drink, I am very interested in your harder stuff. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do you have? Anywhere you can suggest for my city dwelling friend here, where he might be able to sleep and not get eaten by?
Well, I mean, we're kind of the only thing in town in the Underdwell. I mean, you're free to go camp over at the over at the town square.
Are there any vacant buildings here that
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
there's a lot of vacant buildings here. Yeah, of course.
Okay, which direction has the most vacant buildings?
Oh, you just head out towards the north end.
All right.
You'll find. Oh, that's a great idea. Just go stay. Yeah, just go ahead and go stay in one of those. You'll have a good time. You'll love it.
Insight check, please.
Yeah.
Same. All right. Well, my friend is thinking that over. I'm curious. I'm a very good. I don't know what kind of fare you offer here. Could I potentially sleep in your kitchen, like near the oven?
Yeah, about our kitchen. That caught on fire, so that hasn't been repaired yet. Look, as much as we all appreciate you kept the T-Rex from destroying the Underdwell, I just don't have the accommodations here for you.
Hey,
guys.
look, the fire was Sibo's responsibility. That was a 17 insight check, by the way.
Okay. Spot, did you make one too?
I didn't have a chance. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Ooh, that is a nat 20 plus 7.
Nice.
Between the two of you, he's telling the truth, but there's an underlining kind of notion of there's something about the north end that might be a little weird. Like,
So,
there might be a reason why those buildings are still vacant.
tell me about the north end.
It's a bunch of the old dwellings that no one's decided to look. Okay, so they're a little haunted. That's all. There's no real reason to stay over there, and they're harmless haunts. They don't seem intent on nefarious purpose. They're
What? Wait.
They're basically just
harmless haunts.
Yeah, they're like ghosts, like poltergeists almost.
Sure. Spirits of who? Or what?
Mostly, from what I heard from those that have tried to stay in there, pirates.
Okay, now you say tried to stay in there. There's a
Well,
story there.
Well, all right. So they can get a little obnoxious, a little loud. They throw a lot of parties. It's the only vacant buildings we got left out here in the Underdwell. So, you guys are brave, right? You killed a T-Rex.
I'm going to reach across the bar and slap him on the shoulder and also cast friends on him.
Okay, is there a save for that?
It's a cantrip. So advantage on all charisma checks directed at one creature of your choice. So, and say you don't have to beat around the bush. You can tell us straight what is going on the north end of town.
I just told you. Did you not hear me?
You told us in very vague generalities about some pirates.
Well, because
I'm sure you know more.
I just some people believe it, some people don't. Look, I'm not the kind of person that believes in anything until I saw an undead T-Rex running through our town. So sure, could be something a little weird about
who knows about the pirates on the north end.
Well, everybody does. You can see everyone's kind of giggling in the background.
Arthur, we're both thinking this. Why don't we round up just an absurd amount of hard liquors, and I will party with them all night so that you four can get a good night's rest.
Okay, before we do that, I'm gonna
distract the ghosts.
I'm gonna lean in very close to the bartender. My tabaxi friend has incredibly sharp claws and sometimes an insatiable appetite for small things.
Yeah.
Usually rats, but
does he eat small things like does he eat gnomes? Is that what you're saying?
How much of this can I hear?
I haven't not seen it.
How much of this can I hear?
I leave that up to Earthen.
How close are you listening?
I've
leaned in close to him intentionally, right?
I do have very large ears. I am a kitty. So
but you're also talking about getting hammered. So how closely are you listening? Because I'm not talking about getting hammered.
I would say his passive would be high enough to pick up on the intent of the conversation, but maybe not the specifics.
Okay, because I'm going to flash my my claws, and then just when Earthen insinuates that I would eat a sentient being, just
I'm gonna like look over and kind of smile at you, thumbs up, you know.
You give me you give me an intimidation check.
Yep, with advantage because I cast friends.
You did.
Oh God, not terrible, but that's 14.
No, I'm pretty sure that's everything I got to tell you. I have no reason not to. I mean, you know, it's just, you know, it's the older part of the Underdwell. It's the oldest section that we know of, and
I lean back away from the table, like, what is it about bartenders? Okay.
Well, I'm not really a bartender. I just own the place.
I'm going to saunter up to the bar and just put down a couple of gold. And it's like, okay, I need whatever your pirateiest liquor is. I have an idea. It's a terrible idea, but that's never stopped me before.
Well, we've got some Marquesian rum. There
Sure.
you go.
Cool. Good. Cool.
We've got this really cool, this other stuff. It comes from Nicodranus. They call it,
Please,
they
no
call it
death
Bacardi.
punch. Just no death
Kind of
punch.
hands it over.
Just no death punch. Come on.
No, why? What kind of idiot would drink that? That was like the worst thing you could drink. It was anybody that drinks that might as well just be lobotomized and put out the pasture. He reaches up and pulls down a cordial body, like a bottle that says blueberry cordial on it. It says, "Oh yeah, there you go. Those 3 for that 2 gold. Yeah, we're good.
Really, blueberry cordial. All right.
Yeah, I came off one of the trade ships.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And by the way, if you run across anything like a new roof, furniture, new kitchen, anything that I could, you know, use to put this place back together, that'd be really great if you could just fill me in on where it is.
Are there any like points on the tarps that are kind of flapping loose or anything, or is it?
Oh yeah, I mean the whole conversation is the sound of wind buffeting all the tarpaulins.
All right. Can I do an investigation, just see if there's anything I can see that I might be able to clamber up and tack down for him?
Yeah, give him an investigation check as you look around.
15.
No, place looks relatively neat, but bit of a shithole now.
So I'm gonna cast minor illusion in the corner.
Okay.
Of just some boards and stuff. Like, well, you can use that. I'm annoyed at this guy. So
use what?
In the corner.
Yeah, you're just casting an illusion of boards. I don't understand.
Yeah. I leave the bar. I storm out of the tavern.
And I was just like, boy, he's really emotional. You know, humans.
I'm gonna slap down a like 5 silver pieces. That's for pissing him off. That was amazing.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I didn't know that was a form of trade, but sure. Anytime you want him nice and pissed off, just bring him into the Raven. We got you covered.
Fucking north side of town. Looking around, looking for north because we're in the jungle and it's dark and I can't see freaking north here. So what the hell?
Why don't we just camp in the town square? Why are we going to the pirate ghost section?
Dude, did you not hear?
Wait,
pirate ghosts! The ghosts of pirates!
Hang on.
This sounds fucking amazing!
Shut up, Spot.
Fuck you, man.
Winter.
You're not ruining this for me, Earthen.
You look, you had your tabaxi romp, okay? Winter, didn't you say something about your bow and pirates and all that stuff before?
I have something about the island of Bawali, yeah.
But I thought like who was the previous owner of your bow? I thought the previous owner was a pirate.
Yeah. I think I think you're right. I talk to it every now and then. Like some famous dark toe pirate, maybe. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
What are the odds that they would know anything about, well, pirates on this island?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I have a relationship with a bow.
Okay, fair enough. Well, maybe we can learn something up there anyway. I'm gonna like go back in the bar and like pop the door open. Which way is north?
Slightly left.
Close the door and turn around and like head slightly left.
Which takes you right into the town square. Like in the middle of the town square is this like piece of shit signpost with all these different signs on it. One sign says Nicodranus that way, like 1,500 miles, and another sign says, Drusar that way, like 5,000 miles, and there's all these like little signs, and there's a little sign that says North End, like 1,000 feet to the left. And you're just staring at like darkened coral buildings that just look very uninviting. Which, if you're Spot, it looks like a place you want to go play.
Here's some top story. Just gonna clamber up the wall.
Look, your hut, your thing that you cast protects us all, right? So we really don't have anything to worry about here.
It hopefully should not let in the ghosts.
They'd have to have your permission. There's a limit to what can or can't come in.
Yeah, they won't have my permission to come in.
And based on the description of haunts that the bartender was giving, I mean, you've got enough, understanding from your religious background that more than likely they're just probably harmful poltergeists that have manifested, maybe those that have drowned out in the bay, or perhaps this was a pirate hideout at some point, and these are the leftover kind of shadows of their former selves that have just simply never crossed into the veil. It doesn't feel risky.
On the one hand, we could maybe learn something. On the other hand, we need to sleep, and that's good shelter. I'm just worried about town square and somebody bumping into the hovel while we're there. That just doesn't sound right. At least in one of these old dilapidated ruins.
And as a town square, it's literally like this kind of like 200 square foot section with a post in the middle of it, with different pathways and roads that lead away from it to the other outer fringes of the underdwell. I mean, it's just a patch of dirt that would be, supportive of a campsite. There's not a lot of crowds here, other than people using hand carts or trudging stuff to and fro from different structures, and every now and then a gaggle of very young gnomes comes out and plays and disappears back into another structure.
I mean, it could be beneficial to speak to these pirate ghost things. Obviously, they may know something more, but the odds that they are not wanting to
We'd be happy to have a conversation with the living.
Yes!
I'm sure it would be very fun to be doing that. Yeah.
I'm the happiest Vexy's ever been. This is so fucking cool.
You know what? Go for it, Spot. Go for it.
All right, guys.
You guys can hear the night sounds of the jungle. The sun is now fully down. Most of those walking about doing the last bit of activity before settling in for the night. It's now getting late. What are you guys doing?
I'm literally throwing out coins, and I'm trying to talk to whatever pirate ghost is in front of me.
So you guys all still at the town square, or have you gone into the north end?
I'm gone.
All right, Spot's in the north end, but
okay, Spot's headed off into the abandoned coral structures at this point.
I would look at the rest of it. We can't let him go alone.
Puck's like, why not?
He is my crime buddy, but God, he's dumb.
What happened when you went alone, Puck?
Here's the thing. I want to be there for Spot. I recognize that this is Spot's time to shine and to live their best life. That being said, I'm going to sleep on this tiger, and wherever I wake up is up to you guys. And Puck just goes to sleep. That's it. Puck's had a long day. Puck needs to sleep.
You've had the longest day of any of us. That's fair.
Wherever we sleep, just roll my body there.
No, don't say that, because that happened already, and you weren't sleeping. That was not fun. That was not fun at all, okay?
Okay, so Puck just goes to sleep on top of Punch. And Punch can take care of the rest.
Punch starts to go after Spot,
Oh, shit.
Of course.
heading out into the north end. So far, Punch and Spot have gotten along. I mean, Spot's pretty entertaining for Punch.
They speak the same language.
Then I will
Well,
sleep.
curiosity and mischievous behavior, to a certain degree. It's a similar language, sure.
Out of
Mutilation of small animals.
Hey,
out of character, my last character that I played as a Tabaxi, one of the things that me and my DM worked out is I could literally talk to cats. Like that was my
that's
other
great.
language.
See?
That's fair.
Oh, that's
I'm
fun.
okay with that. So Xanath, Earthen, you watch as Winter kind of shrugs her shoulders and starts following Punch into the north end.
Of course. I'm just like talking to myself, but just this like annoyed, like, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are.
So what are you two doing?
Well, I'm just look at Xanth like, well,
yeah, this is dumb, but they've already wandered in, so
Xanath like puts on her helmet and just kind of slogs her way into the north end.
hey,
So with that, the four of you are chasing after a very excited Spot into the abandoned abodes of the north end. Can't believe we're finishing a third session without taking a long rest yet. This is hysterical to
I'm
me.
really trying to rest right now, but we have a Tabaxi that just came off a crazy high
on the back of Punch, with Punch kind of loping behind Spot, and then Winter's like coming in, and oh my god, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome next week. So with that, everybody, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us on What We Play. You guys go ahead and hang out. We're going to talk about the schedule a bit. And other than that, hey, everybody, thank you for coming out and watching us play. We really do appreciate it. Be safe, be kind, and play a game. And we'll see y'all next Sunday. Good night, everybody.